I work hard to earn my pay, and I saved real big today at All American Ford.
Hey everyone, I'm Jason Savino, the marketing director for the All American Auto Group. And this is the All American Auto Mall and Old Bridge Updates podcast. This is my brother, Nick Savino. He's our fixed ops director. He's been a guest a few times now.
More like a regular.
More like a regular. He wants to be a regular for sure.
We should change the name to N&J Podcast, New Jersey Podcast, N&J All American Podcast. But that's we'll talk about that later.
We'll put that up to the focus groups.
Yeah.
We'll see how. Maybe the listeners will tune in. Maybe we'll do a vote on social media, and we'll say, okay, so we'll do that. So this episode, we're going to recap the tow show that we both went to this past weekend. And then I want to talk about tire pressure monitoring system and with the cold weather, because I know we get a ton of social media comments on that. So The Baltimore Tow Show was this past weekend. Our location here obviously has Jerr-Dan tow trucks, All American Jerr-Dan in Old Bridge. We are the number 2 Jerr-Dan distributorship in the entire country. We started just 3 years ago, I believe. We started outside of the top 10. Then when we were ranked 9 one year, then 3 last year. Now we're ranked number 2. So we keep growing, obviously, explosive growth over the past few years with it. So we set up a booth at the tow show in Baltimore, the Baltimore Convention Center. And it was, I believe, Wednesday to Sunday. Mm-hmm. And we went down on Saturday. So that was one of your first conferences, or not necessarily? Like, I've been to NADA a million times.
It was one of definitely my first tow truck conference.
Yeah, both of us.
It was very eye-opening. It was the amount of effort a lot of these tow truck drivers put into paint jobs and accessories and lights and stuff like that. It was pretty impressive. Pretty cool customization stuff. I know we both took a bunch of pictures and made some notes so that we could, flash up a whole bunch of tow trucks that we're going to try and sell.
Yeah, that part was crazy. It's called a wrecker pageant. And I don't know, it was probably like 40 or 50 of these tow trucks that were in one corner of the convention center. And you set up your vehicle as a pageant, and I guess somebody came around and judged them, and they won a trophy, and the trophy is a big deal within the tow truck industry. And me and Nick walked around, and we were looking for our mud flaps to see who our customers were. Yeah. So we found a few of them. I mean, that red truck that had the entire interior done in red was awesome. It was
pretty cool.
That black and white one that we saw, the Ford, I think they were both F450s. Mm-hmm. They were all done up, like blacked out logos, stuff you wouldn't necessarily expect from a tow truck. So those pictures were on our social media page, our All American Jerr-Dan account. And then aside from the pageant, you had the actual vendors, you had the booths, you had the dealerships, you had the OEMs like Jerr-Dan. We set up a booth. Randy, Erin, our Jerr-Dan team did a fantastic job all week. Again, pictures were posted the whole time, so you go back and see those. I think they brought down 5 trucks. They all sold instantly. They sold a lot of pre-orders as well, which was great. Our booth was very impressive. That line, I couldn't believe it. So Lexi, one of our employees for Jerr-Dan as well, was incredible and just bagging all of our free giveaways into our gift bags. And the line of people that were lining up to get that stuff is crazy. We were giving away very nice tow truck gloves with our logo on them, T-shirts, pens, stuff like that. So that line probably surprised me the most out of the entire weekend.
Yeah, it was. There's
crazy.
10 people deep almost every second.
Every time we walk back around to it.
Yep. Pretty crazy. So
that was a cool event. Nick and I had about 4 or 5 hours in between, being at the show, meeting some folks, and then we had a customer appreciation party for a lot of our customers. Jerr-Dan helped us throw that. The Garden State Towing Association helped us throw that. And then we had dinner with Jerr-Dan executives as well. And in between that time, we went out and, saw the town, saw the Baltimore Harbor. We ended up on a submarine. We ended up on a pirate ship.
We did.
At one point, Randy texted us and was like, how's it going? And I think I texted him a picture of you in the submarine with a big smile on your face. We were like, we're at a submarine. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe what is going on right now. But that was a lot of fun.
Very nice area. The inner harbor was nice. We both said we were going to bring our kids back there and families back there. It's a nice area.
Yeah. So that was Baltimore. That was the tow show. I will have either Randy or Erin on this over the next couple episodes. I'll have them talk a lot more, go into Jerr-Dan, go into tow trucks, because we haven't really had that introduction podcast episode for our tow trucks and our Jerr-Dan distributorship. So let's get into the tire pressure monitor. So every single year, we get 1 million comments on Facebook. I'm sure you and your service department get 1 million phone calls, millions of appointments booked. So talk a little bit about tire pressure monitoring and what happens with weather.
So generally what all manufacturers, whether it's Ford, Subaru, Jerr-Dan, Chevy, Honda, Toyota, whoever it is, every manufacturer in their owner's manual recommends checking tire pressure once a month. Now, I've owned a vehicle and driven vehicles for 20 something years. I've never checked my tire pressure once.
Never, not
once, unless there was an issue. So
wait, I wouldn't even know how to. Besides it saying the number on the screen, how did people do it before that? So
before they actually had that technology, you'd have to unscrew the cap, put in a gauge, and it would pop up and read. You'd actually have to turn it around. Yeah,
never would know how to do that.
So most people don't look at that stuff unless there's a problem, unless a light comes on and says tire pressure fault.
Yeah.
So generally what happens is your tires are made of rubber with air inside, obviously. So what happens is in the colder weather, it contracts. And in the hotter weather, it expands. So your tire pressures will naturally fluctuate. This time of year, especially it being very cold in the mornings and overnight, your tires are losing air. So when you wake up and you go to start it and you drive for a little while, that light may be on because you may be a couple pounds of pressure less than what you normally are. And you actually see, if you were to watch those digital gauges, you'll see, which nobody does. Everybody has their speedometer on or miles to empty, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
But if you were to watch that gauge, you start it up in the morning, as you drive and the tires warm up within a couple minutes, 10 minutes sometimes, you'll see the tire pressure go up a little bit.
And it'll go up in real time.
And it'll go up in real time based on that measurement. So generally what we say is every time you're in for a service, anybody doing your service, especially here at All American, we adjust tire pressures according to the sticker. And so sometimes when you get a tire pressure light out in the morning, the best thing for you to do, walk outside, walk around the car, just make sure you don't have anything completely flat. Anything that's in a dangerous level, you'll be able to visually see how flat it is. You'll notice that it's obviously thinner than the other tires. And if you don't have that situation, just drive the car. You could bring it to us anytime you want without an appointment. If you have that light on, we'll be happy to fill you up with air. You don't actually even have to go into the shop. Through both of our service drives on the Ford side and the Subaru side, you just pull right up to the door, grab a valet. He'll come out and he'll put air pressure in all of your tires.
So you look, so that alert goes on. If it was me and I wasn't working at a dealership, I would definitely right away want to call. I would assume I had a flat tire.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying walk around, see if you have the flat. I've never had a flat tire, by the way, knock on wood. You walk around, you see it. If it's flat, obviously, then you take measures.
If it's flat and you're not comfortable with changing your old tire, which most people these days aren't, just call Ford Roadside Assistance or Subaru Roadside Assistance. They'll actually come and put your spare tire on for you, and then you'll be able to drive it to the dealership. So
you see it. If not, you're recommending they give it maybe their morning drive, see if it goes up. If it goes up because of the weather, because of the expanding heat and stuff like that, then you're good to go. Don't need to come in.
Then you're good to go. Well, generally you will have to go in because what that means is if your tire pressure, let's say the sticker on the car says 35 and in the mornings it's down to 32, we should be putting air in your tires when it's cold. So we put air in the tires and we'll move it up to about 38. And then at that point, it'll fluctuate a couple pounds here and there up and down. And it's not significant enough to change the drivability of the vehicle to address. It's not significant enough to contribute to gas mileage issues. And it's to the point then when during this time period of fluctuation between hot and cold weather, you'll be fine.
Gotcha. So what else? Getting into winter, we'll probably have another episode just dedicated to this because it's, again, huge questions. But what else can people get ready for with snow coming, with obviously freezing cold weather on a daily basis? What else do you recommend customers do or look out for?
So generally, you should have some sort of service done before sometime either in the fall or the early winter to make sure that your tires are in good shape, to make sure that your brakes are not low, because on ice, your tires being thin, you're more susceptible to skidding. And if you're skidding and your brakes are low, you're not going to stop as properly, generally speaking. So get a service done at some point, check those things. We check it every time with a multi-point inspection, whether it's Ford, Subaru, Jerr-Dan, or Isuzu, all the same across the board.
Mobile service.
One of the big things is washer fluid. So a lot of these gas stations where typically most consumers get washer fluid when the washer fluid is low, what happens is they have a summer blend and a winter blend. And what happens is sometimes their washer fluid will actually freeze in the winter months because they don't fill it up normally, and it contributes and it clogs up. So in the early mornings in the winter, you can go to hit that washer fluid and nothing comes out. You just hear a pumping. And what could happen is if you keep holding it down longer and longer and longer, that pump could actually break. So
what do we do with washer fluid here? We have summer and winter, or is that like a gas
we do?
station
So we
thing?
have tanks here that are filled up monthly with washer fluid. And what happens is right around the fall time, they turn and they flip it from a summer blend to a winter blend. And then that will contribute to being basically not freezing in the colder weather.
I completely blow through my windshield wiper fluid every single winter. Anytime my windshield is frozen, I'll stick on that and just let the water go all over it. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that or not, but
it's fine.
Probably it works out. It always works out.
No,
I blast the defroster and just make it rain the washer fluid, and it usually works out okay for me.
I generally in the mornings, if I'm leaving at 8:00, I will remote start my car like 4 times before I even go out there. And generally when you go out there, you just wipe everything off.
That's a good point. So talk about that, because that happened to me yesterday morning. You remote start your car from inside the house. Mm-hmm. It's not burning that much gas, right? It's basically idling. It's fine.
Yep.
It'll shut off automatically after.
Yeah. So
is it 10 or 15 minutes?
Different vehicles, different setups. Some's 10 minutes, some's 15 minutes. I've seen some 20 minutes and 25 minutes. It's all different. And it's different settings.
And then after it shuts off, you all kind of know that, and then you'll restart it again.
Yeah. So the way that I look at it, that it makes sense, is the front amber lights will come on and the rear tail lights will come on. So when I look out of my window and I see where, depending on where the car is parked, if I don't see any lights on anymore, boom, boom.
Just start it back up again.
But generally every 15 minutes or so, I'll do that. What I also do sometimes is that if I'm about to hop in the shower and I'm at like the 10 to 11 minute mark, I will shut the car down with the remote start and then restart it, because then that sets the clock then another 15 minutes.
How do you do that on a remote start?
You just
stop it.
So you hold down the remote start button, the button that has the arrow and then says 2 times. You just hold it down,
that's
pointing at the car, it shuts it down.
Very interesting. I learned it. I'm going to try and use that tomorrow morning. I don't know if it's supposed to be cold enough.
Good luck. Well, you're now going to come out with flat tires, all 4 flat tires, and ice all over the windows, unfortunately.
That'd be terrible. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining, and we'll be back next week.
Well, everyone can afford it.